Well, I didn't keep my word very long. It's back to Pokemon. Although, we're in Gen 1, but we're doing the yellow version, Special Pikachu Edition. All that good stuff. Part of me kind of wanted to do Gen 1 anyway, just because it is, if I'm going to do Pokemon, it is, like, pretty unique among the franchise. Like, there's glitches and bugs that you really only find in the first generation. Although, Yellow did kind of help correct some of those. Yellow. Ash Jack. We'll just go with red and blue. But, I think the main draw is, you know, with Yellow version, I'm not going to be so tempted to exploit some of the glitches that you find in red and blue, like the item duplication. Plus, I don't know. I figure both people, if they do Gen 1, they usually end up doing red or blue. So, you know, why not do the yellow version? Still get your handy potion there. And, like, the Gen 1... Oh, not Gen 1, but, like... I mean, with the Super Game Boy, you do get, like, expanded color options when you use the Super Game Boy thing here. Although Yellow actually has a bit more in terms of actual color going on than either red or blue, so... It's a little bit more visually dynamic, I guess. I mean, in terms of Pokemon overall, I would say... Like, Gen 1 and Gen 2 are definitely kind of, you know, separate from the rest of them. And Gen 3 is kind of like in that weird transition limbo between what I think the overall best generation in Gen 4 and still a little bit of the early kind of simplicity and kind of oddness at times of Gens 1 and 2. It is nice to go back to Gen 1 sometimes, just for the sake of having, you know, things to, you know, not, I guess not to say, you know, oh, everything's too complicated now. I mean, I like a lot of the quality of life improvements that we've gotten in the later generations, because like I said, I think Gen 4 is probably top to bottom the best. Alright, so I'm gonna give him a nickname here. Yeah, Charger. Though this is kind of an anachronism now, because I used to use this nickname for Pikachu based on the San Diego Superchargers. Now they're the Los Angeles Chargers. It doesn't, you don't get that their fun old fight song anymore. I guess, you know, a little bit is still the same, but anyway, yeah, like I said, with the, you know, Gen 1, you know, you're not really worrying too much about EV training and all other kind of stuff. It existed to a small degree. Oh, wow. But at the end of the day, you know, we're still basically dealing with a much more simplistic style than you have later on. Well, we're getting a Vaporeon, so this is actually a good time to talk about that. Since the rival gets an Eevee, and obviously Eevee has different evolutions, what he'll evolve into it later on is based on how you do in the first two battles. So if you would win this battle, then depending on how you do the second battle, it could influence. Like if you win both this the first rival battle, and the second one, I think it evolves into Jolteon, and then if you win the Oak battle and lose the next battle, then it's Flareon, and if you lose the first Oak battle there, then it's going to be a Vaporeon. I kind of wanted to go with a Vaporeon for him, just because I don't often lose that first battle. So basically, either you kind of have to just resign yourself to like throwing it and like not using the potion, because yeah, I mean you could just use the potion to ensure that you win that one, but I can't remember the last time when I played this game that I actually let it go on to Vaporeon. So it keeps things a little bit different here. I don't know how long we're gonna keep Pikachu as a party member necessarily, because the Let's Go remakes that they've done were more or less based on the yellow version. The main difference is in like Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, the starter Pikachu or starter Eevee respectively are both pretty broken, so it's pretty worthwhile keeping them in your party just because they can really wreck things. I mean, not to say that the game like needs cheesing or anything, but in this one you're, okay, it's, Pikachu and all that, but you can't evolve it into a Raichu, so at the end of the day, its usefulness is kind of limited. You could, I mean, not to say that we have a wide variety of other useful electric types at our disposal necessarily, because the one interesting thing about Gen 1 is, like I said, I like Gen 1 a lot. I mean, it's fun to go back to it, but there's really no denying, if you're looking at it objectively, that from a gameplay standpoint, there is a lot of things that leave things to be desired. Like, the move pools for a lot of Pokemon are really, really lacking. So, I mean, like, there are some Pokemon that, like, literally don't learn any moves of their typing. And, like, some types barely get any moves to begin with. Like, in Gen 1... like, Dragon was almost kind of like a wasted type offensively, because the only Dragon move in the game in Gen 1 is Dragon Rage, which is a fixed damage attack. Like, okay. It's how useful. And I guess that's another thing that kind of makes Gen 1 especially unique was, like, this is, to the best of my knowledge, if I'm remembering things right, it's the only generation, really, where they did a lot with, like, fixed damage attacks. Like, you had things like Dragon Rage, you had, like, Sonic Boom, things that did a set amount of damage. Then you also had moves kind of like, introduced like Nightshade and Seismic Toss, which did damage based on the level of the Pokemon using them. And to a degree, you also had Psy Wave, which was a really weird kind of attack, which was sort of random in the sense that it did damage based on, like, it could do damage based on anywhere, I think, between, no, wait, I don't want that. I want Pokeball. But yeah, it did damage based on, like, either anywhere from half of your level to, like, 1.5 times your level, or something like that. But either way, it was still, like, fixed damage, so it didn't matter if, like, you're using the move on something it would normally be super effective on. It was, that's it. Oh yeah, this is a hidden potion up here. Not really sure why that tree is there otherwise, because it's just like, whatever. It's not really guarding anything. One thing that Pokemon Yellow did change from Gen 1 to Gen 2 also is that it modified, like, encounters and stuff a little bit. So, like, there are certain, not encounters, I should say, like, move pools a little bit. Like, so, because you're, you know, forced to use Pikachu, that first battle against Brock could be slightly, you know, irritating. I didn't mean to do that. Why am I pressing this? Yeah, whatever. I kind of want to get the male Nidoran because that one's better for attacking. And I think you can also get a Mankey, so that is one encounter that changed. Like I said, I shouldn't say that no encounters changed because yeah, they did add, like they added Pidgey and Pidgeotto into the Viridian Forest because they're trying to make this one a little bit like in line with the anime, is sort of to whatever degree they could. Alright, now I was pretty sure that you could get male Nidoran in here. If you go too far up there, that's where you're going to hit that rival battle. We're definitely not ready for that. Come on. Man, all this female Nidoran. I hope I'm not wrong about this here. Alright, come on. Okay. Well, let me try something else. I think the only other main change is because they got rid of the item duplication glitch, you're kind of forced to sit through the catching tutorial here. So yeah, that's one thing. Like in Gen 1, they... And Gen 2 to a degree, like, they don't really go too overboard with the tutorial stuff. That's one thing I like in later generations kind of wears on you a little bit. And then he'll always fail. So yeah, that's kind of, I guess, how they ended up patching that, because normally he would stay there, and he's the guy that sort of used for that item duplication glitch. A lot of weird things going on with code on that. Not to be confused with Code Breaker. Alright, what's different up here? Okay, we got Rattata up here. I really kind of wanted to get that male Nidoran. Alright, more female Nidoran. I hope it's not one of those things where it's like it's so reduced rate, or I'm totally wrong. Okay, there we go. Finally. Now watch as I end up KOing it or something. Alright, critical hit. Not that I think I necessarily need to worry too much about doing a lot of damage to him, because capture rate for early game Pokemon is usually pretty decent. Alright, yeah, we'll give a nickname. Okay. And there we go. So now it's basically just a question of, we get to do leveling up stuff, I guess. Because I do want to do that rival battle, so we'll do a little bit of grinding action here. Try to save some of that for off-screening, I guess, but in this early game, if you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, you know, do kind of have to do a little bit of grinding on screen. This is like one of the only spots, really, where it's a worry. But we can still talk about other things, too, while we're at it. But yeah, one thing definitely like Yellow had is that it uses the basically an early version of that Pokemon following you mechanic, which I think is a criminally underused feature. Like, it really only got used in Gen 4. Whoops. I keep hitting the wrong button there. And, like, okay, I keep messing up which is my A and B buttons. I'm using 2 buttons and I can't keep track of which one they are. But yeah, they used, like, introduced it a little bit in, like, Diamond and Pearl, and okay, I want to flip those there. And then they really got a lot of mileage out of it in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver remakes. And after that, they, like, pretty much abandoned it completely. And I really don't know why. I mean, they brought it back more or less for the, wow. Yeah, they brought it back more or less for the Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee games. But yeah, it's one of those things I really wish they would have used a lot more. You know, it's really kind of a shame. It really is. I mean, it is such a fun little mechanic, and I mean, I don't know necessarily, you know, how much, you know, programming work is required to make something like that work, but, you know, it's something, I mean, I think, you know, like, with the art style they're using for the Diamond and Pearl remakes, it would have been a perfect opportunity to bring that back, but for all appearances, you know, that doesn't look to be in the cards whatsoever. Unfortunately, but, you know, what can you do? I mean, yeah, I would really, really love to see it, but, you know, just one of those kind of wish list features that I have to live without. But yeah, I guess in terms of also why I'm doing Pokemon, I can also talk about that. Like, some of my other plans kind of fell through. I had planned to do a randomizer for Super Mario 64, but when I tested it, I just, like, fired up a random one, and it kind of a funny situation is that I just made generally like a random thing just to test it, just to make sure everything worked all right. And the first thing it did was it basically stuck me in an unwinnable situation where my first stage was Wing Mario over the Rainbow, which, long story short, you basically need to have Wing Cap in order to get the star for that course. And obviously that's the only thing I have available to me. I can't, you know, get the Wing Cap. I can't choose any other stages. Okay, so, you know, like, that's unwinnable. But that wasn't really the problem. I'm like, alright, whatever. This is just a test, so, you know, I would just, you know, generate another thing. I mean, what are the odds of getting that exact stage or another unwinnable stage right off the bat, right? But anyway, once I exited that stage, like, I'm like, alright, just, like, jump off the edge to kill myself or whatever. When I exited the stage, the whole ROM crashed. And so I'm just like, I'm having problems. I'm like, I just don't think it's going to work. And I'm like, and I tried it because, like, I was using an older version of Project 64 for that. And I was like, okay, well, I can download a newer version of it. But that one still crashed at the same exact moment, so I'm like, I don't know. Unless I figure out another workaround, I don't know that I'll be able to do that playthrough. On the other side of things, I did kind of figure out the issues I was having with PS4 Remote Play, which is positive for whenever I want to do the Mass Effect trilogy. Although, I also kind of debated, like, okay, I can probably do, you know, something like Sonic Mania or some other things from that. I was going to do Sonic Mania from that. but it was basically a question of, you know, it was giving me such bad input lag that it was, okay, this is not going to really be feasible to play through because, yeah, if I'm dealing with noticeable input lag in a game like Sonic, I'm gonna have a bad time. Alright, so that's probably enough on-screen grinding, because I had 20 minutes. So I'll probably level these guys up a couple more levels, and then in the next video I do, I will fight my rival, and then we'll go head through Viridian Forest and all that good stuff. So, alright, we're off on another Pokemon adventure. So, later, everybody.